According to the New York City Commission on Human Rights, there are 31 genders.
What the fuck?
Some people on the campus saying pronouns like he, she, him, or her do not represent them accurately. Now, the university wants staff to use alternate pronouns. We have a graphic to show our audience at home just some of the pronouns being used or asked to be used as alternates.
And what we mean by gender pronouns is not just he and she, but a whole slew of invented gender pronouns that you're going to be compelled to use. Now, we're talking about as many as 70 plus invented gender pronouns like Z, XE, ZIR, HIR, a bunch of weird ones. And this is for people that don't necessarily think they're a he or a she.
There is a new policy at the University of Michigan that allows students to choose their preferred pronouns to appear on the class rosters. Their policy is, they say, asking about and correctly using someone's designated pronoun is one of the most basic ways to show your respect for their identity and to cultivate an environment that respects all gender identities.
University of Toronto psychology professor Jordan Peterson has a fight on his hands after objecting to proposed legislation that he says would violate his freedom of speech by forcing him to address transgendered people using the pronouns of their choosing.
Soon, all the college's bathrooms will be gender neutral. Anyone will be allowed to use any bathroom, and the signs designating bathrooms for either men or women will be replaced with signs that say either restroom with urinals and stalls, restrooms with only stalls, or restroom single occupancy.
The White House now directing every public school to allow students to use bathrooms and locker rooms consistent with their gender identity.
The district is calling for unisex bathrooms to accommodate transgender students or letting them choose the bathroom they need.
At Mount Holyoke this year, they canceled a production of the Vagina Monologues because they said it offended the transgendered by offering, quote, an extremely narrow perspective on what it means to be a woman. Yes, we forgot all about the 0.3% of women who don't have vaginas but still want a monologue.
The British Medical Association, the BMA, has advised its staff to don't call pregnant women expectant mothers because it might offend transgender people. Instead, they should call them pregnant people so as not to upset intersex and transgender men.
There is one particular school district in the Bay Area in California that has decided to create gender-neutral bathrooms. Now, this is specifically a San Francisco elementary school, and they want to basically accommodate students who might not necessarily identify with the gender that they were born with.
The 2-year-old Max Price is actually a boy. Max's parents are raising him gender neutral, meaning they dress him in both boys' and girls' clothes.
National Geographic is featuring a transgender child on its cover for the first time in the magazine's history. Avery Jackson, a 9-year-old transgender girl from Missouri,
you're bi. Are we all a little bi?
Basically, it's not correct that there is such a thing as biological sex.
If someone says, this is the pronoun I want you to use to refer to me, that is the pronoun you will use to refer to them. Period.
Just an FYI, my voice, my body, and my clothes do not define my gender. Please stop purposely misgendering.
I'm gonna wear girls' clothes when I want to. I'm gonna wear boys' clothes when I please. So fuck you, fuck you, fuck you for telling me to fit inside your gender binary.
There's something a bit weird about how doctors assign gender to babies. That's because there aren't only boys and girls, and because not all people identify with their assigned gender.
Oh, so the doctors are wrong sometimes?
Yes, Teddy. Sometimes doctors don't assign the right genders.
Would you date a trans person, honestly? Think about it for a second. Okay, got your answer? Well, if you said no, I'm sorry, but that's pretty discriminatory.
I want to live in a world where Disney movies have homosexual, interracial, 3 or more person relationships, and any relationship in between. I want to live in a world where the first thing you say to a person when you meet them is, "Hello, my name is Lauren, my pronouns are her and she, what are yours?"
I've started the hashtag 76 genders, even though there are probably more like millions of gender.
My pronouns are not preferred. They're not a preference. They are mandatory for interaction with me.
How are things in your life now?
Well, I have a mommy and daddy, a adopted mommy and daddy, who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl, and their children and their grandchildren are totally supportive.
So for those who keep asking me if I'm a guy or a girl, ask me that question one more time, and you're gonna get your ass beat by a beautiful circus-style raver chick. That's right.
And then you're gonna get your fucking ass beat by a fucking bro, man. That's motherfucking right.
Is there a difference in your mind between men and women?
No, yes. I mean, possibly?
There's not much difference besides what society forces onto people.
And how do you know the difference between men and women?
By what people think they are. So you can't like judge someone just on like their looks. I don't think there's any one way to really distinguish between a man or a woman, and I don't think it's necessary.
If you don't know already, I'm gender fluid, which if you don't know what that means, it basically just means my gender changes from time to time.
What you're doing is you're borrowing language from an actually oppressed group just to suit your whims.